we got the McLaren. I had to.
You got 99,000 likes. Guys, I promise you, if you go through here and you look at the girls who like this photo, you would be like, holy crap.
And social media does play a big role in that, right? So Instagram is basically a dating app at this point as well, right? You're getting DMs, you're following girls because they're hot and you just want to see what they're up to. And then you're hoping that someday they will notice that you liked their photo or commented on one of their photos. When in reality, there's 60,000 other likes that she's not going to notice that you liked her photo. If an extremely hot girl liked one of my photos right now, I wouldn't even notice either. It's just, how am I going to see it? If you're at that level, you don't have notifications on, you're not really checking all your likes. So when I see a lot of these girls posting whatever bikini content and there's hundreds of thousands of likes, I'm like, why are guys liking this right now?
Yeah.
It's like, it
It
hurts me
doesn't
a
make
little
any
bit.
sense. Yeah.
I know it hurts me a little bit, but unless obviously like you like the person for who they are or whatever, I get it. But if you're just liking just because like you're hoping that she'll notice you, it pains me a little bit. But having said that, Instagram is a great tool for dating, for sure. Just not in that way. If you know how to use it properly, if you know how to build your personal brand, right? Like if you build it, they will come situation where that you build something so cool and different. It's like your dating business card in a way, right? You have your whole profile set up properly, and when somebody looks at it, they're like, okay, this guy looks like he has a cool life, or he has his cool values, his family values, or he lives in New York. It seems like a cool place for me to be. That way, if you do that, then Instagram is an amazing dating app if you build it properly.
I agree with you totally. That thing bothers me. If you guys want to know 100% correlation with who a woman is not sleeping with, it's the guy who leaves the heart eye comments on her photos. Yeah. 100% of the time, she's not sleeping with that guy. I've had arguments with some of my clients before. It was like, yeah, but you like some of them, right? You encourage them. I'm like, never. If I want to encourage a girl, you know when I'm going to do it? When she comes to my apartment and sees me. Now, I'm not going to validate her on a photograph. Guys, I want you to think about it like this. Men, when women give you attention, because women like attention. When women give you attention, it doesn't cost them anything. So their attention is kind of worthless. But when you give attention to a woman, it actually drops your value. You giving attention costs you something, whether or not you realize this. When women give you attention, it costs them nothing. Like it really doesn't. So you're giving attention because she's giving attention. But when women give you compliance, I mean, they show up for the date, they don't flake on you, they're physically attentive to you, and then eventually have sex with you. And those things, now she's complying. A woman having sex costs her something, just like you giving attention costs you something. And so if there's not an equal exchange, which there never is when you're liking a girl's photos who doesn't know you exist, there's never an equal exchange. And that's why it's just so ridiculous for you to do it. But I'm telling you right now, I don't like any girl's photos unless it is my girlfriend or a girl rescued an animal. If a girl rescued an animal, I like that photo. But there's no bikini photos and my female friends are like, why don't you like any of my photos? I'm like, I'll send you a message, or I'll tell you when I see you, but I'm not going to do it over IG. That shit is just crazy, bro. If you want to see dudes who like 100% don't get laid, just look at the comments on some of those photos.
Those are the guys. Yeah, for sure. And it makes sense, right? Because there's so many of them. What is she going to be like? Oh, let me check the profile of every single person who left a little heart eye. I'm like, no, she's not even going to notice. To her, it's a difference between 105 comments or 106. Like it doesn't really make any difference whether or not you leave that comment there. And I think if you're interested in a girl and you think you have a shot, or even if not, if you just want to shoot your shot. But like that's not the way to do it. Give her a follow, send her a DM, however you want to do it, reply to her story. But at least do that instead of just like blending in with the millions of other guys who are just posting, comments.
I'm already seeing some of the questions here from Kenneth. Reply to the story is way better than liking the photo. Reply to the story, because there's this weird phenomenon with Homo sapiens. If you tell people, if I told Alex, I got this really cool video about you, he's gonna watch it. I don't care if Alex has 50 million followers. When people make videos about you or your content, you're gonna watch it. When you send someone their old content, there's this thing in your brain where like, okay, I'm gonna look at this. And if you can send them a comment that does not directly validate their physical attractiveness, because that's what every other guy does, when you can do something like that, which is either teasing or going over something about them, maybe it's that they accomplished some goal, maybe it's that they bought their first, like I would love it if you guys liked photos of a girl who bought their own home instead of renting or bought their own home instead of buying a goddamn Gucci bag, that would be great. That's a photo I would like. That's a great example. That would be something, but that's not what you guys are doing. You just see big boobies and you're like heart eyes. I can't believe I talked to photographers and they're like disagreeing with me about this. I'm like, dude, you're completely wrong. The other thing is somebody asked, what if girls tag you in their photos and should you like it? If a girl tags you in the photo, definitely if you're in the photo. But again, like what Alex said, reply to her story. That's a cheat code. One other thing, and I don't even know if Alex knows this. If you don't have open threads with girls, what happens is you can send one message and now the Instagram algorithm stops you from sending additional messages to the girl. With one exception, you can always reply to stories. You can reply to 1,000 stories and IG will never stop you from sending those messages.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's way more interesting too. She gets way less, maybe not after this video, but way less story replies, right? Than likes. It's just like these girls are getting like 50 to 100,000 likes. She's not getting that many story replies. And also with the way that Instagram shows you just a teaser of the message, right? She has to go through her folder of requested messages. And there's a little teaser. So those first little words are very, very important. Make sure that it's something that's interesting and eye-catching for her to click on it, because obviously she will have a ton of other messages, but not as many as likes. So if you want to show up, to get noticed, don't be liking photos and leaving, especially a comment with an emoji. That's just not going to get you anywhere. It's just not going to happen. I would love, you should get somebody on this podcast that has done
disagrees.
That.
No, I'll give you one example. Like my friend Jessie Preston, she's my friend, and she got like 1,000 cc boob jobs. So her boobs are huge. And I commented, hey girl, what happened to your boobs? Did they fall off? I thought you used to have boobs. What happened? And she just like could not stop commenting after that. Unless if you're teasing them, yes. Like my friend Caitlin Runk, she's like a fitness model. And I was like, hey bro, do you even go to the gym? That would be appropriate. That's funny. You're being funny. Because obviously, this girl's like super fucking lean. But like what you don't want to do is, heart eyes, that kind of stuff. And by the way, women absolutely can do that. And it's totally fine. They don't lose any value for doing that. As women give attention, it doesn't cost them anything. When men give attention, you lower your value. Guys, just remember that. It's just to be the same thing as if guys knew or women knew that a woman just slept with any guy, just with no discernment whatsoever, she would lose her value, lose some value. A man who just gives his attention away to any woman just because she's attractive, he loses some value. So if you just keep that in your mind, then you understand, like, am I giving this girl attention just because her boobs are big? If I'm doing so, then she's going to see me as lower value. It's just a real simple equation like that. The other concept, go ahead, Alex.
No, I was gonna say it's so true. And that's why personal, like I keep going back to personal branding. It's just about taking care of yourself, you showing people who you truly are, and then building that Instagram profile that when they go there, let's say you do leave a message and she does notice you, what's the first thing she's going to do is check your Instagram. So even if your message was amazing and your life just doesn't look good on Instagram, she's probably not going to talk to you, and Instagram is so good for that, because you can literally curate your page to look like whatever you want it to look like. So you can just post your best side. You can just show the highlight reel of your life. Right. And that will be way more attractive than you posting food photos or photos of your dog. It's just not going to be as cool.
Yeah, guys, I want you to hear what he just said, because again, more debates about this, especially from the older guys who join my program. When a woman meets you, she's going to check your Instagram. Okay.
Immediately.
Now, I know you might be thinking that some of you younger guys will be like, well, no, I'm not doing Instagram. I'm on TikTok. TikTok's fine, but TikTok is not good for setting up dates, because the way the DM feature works on there, it's very hard to connect with people. Like you have to both be following each other. And there's just so many DMs. It just doesn't work. The DM notifications are in the same place with all your other notifications. So I just don't see on TikTok. Same thing on Twitter. But on Instagram, the DM is robust because they already have WhatsApp and they already have Facebook Messenger. So the DM abilities on IG are better. If you guys want to throw a huge party and have 100 girls show up, it's Instagram and nothing else. There's no other way. You're not doing that on Twitter. You're not doing that on TikTok. You're not even doing it on Facebook. You're only doing that on Instagram. That's why for dating and social circle type of stuff, Instagram is, at least for right now, is still the king.
For sure. And it's really easy to botch that too. So if you leave a message, they check your profile and you don't have what it takes, it doesn't really matter anymore. She'll see, this is not really a guy that takes care of social media, unless you're one of those guys that don't really have a lot showing. You have like a few good photos, and that's really all it takes. A few good photos, a few photos that portray who you are, a little bit about your life, your values. That's it. You don't have to have photos skydiving or anything crazy. When a lot of times when I say build your profile for dating purposes or for business purposes, people think that they have to go all out and get photographers. Obviously that's amazing and that's great, but that's not for everyone. So just remove anything that's bad, anything that people could look at and be like, this this doesn't look right, this guy's weird, anything like that needs to be removed, and just show your best side. That's the best thing you can do when it comes to building a profile on Instagram.
Yeah, guys, these blurry photos, these if you want to take pictures where it's almost like a male thirst trap, you can do it if you actually know what you're doing. If you're Alex, you definitely can do that, right? Because you have clothes that look correct. They're blurry. They're like you with your arms around your buddies at a college football game, drinking a beer. Like, you have to understand, Facebook is where you keep those old photos of your family. Instagram is where you show access to scarce resources, competency, relevancy, and high status, and pre-selection, like meaning other women find you attractive. You're going to do that on Instagram. If you're using Instagram for anything else other than running a business, if you're using Instagram for anything else, you're missing the point. That's not what Instagram's for. Instagram is not for showing pictures of you and Nana. That's for Facebook. That's because Nana's on Facebook. Nana's not on Instagram, bro. Your grandmother's on Facebook. That's why you leave those photos there, and those big photo albums with 150. That's where that goes, right? The other thing I want to talk about is the middle class for men, as far as dating is concerned, as far as social media profiles is concerned, is gone. It is really, there is, like you talked about before, there's this small group of men that women look at and see these guys are attractive. That's what they say on these dating apps. And then there's a large group of men that like don't even have photos for their avatar. Their Instagram looks terrible, or even the worst, I think is the worst, when they go take selfies with celebrities who don't even look interested standing next to them, or take selfies with girls who look like they're annoyed by them. That kind of social media is what I'm saying. So there's no middle class anymore. There's just like, you either have awesome social media where it looks like you have a cool life, or it's just caca.
Yeah, and that's one of the first things that I talk about. So I have an Instagram course called Unlocked, and just teaches you how to build your Instagram profile, right? And one of the first videos is how to make your profile look good. Immediately, people with a bunch of underscores and different characters in their usernames, you're losing out, right? If you're at a bar or out somewhere and a girl's like, "What's your Instagram?" and you're like, Michael42x37 dot underscore Sartain. Like, what? Make it as simple as possible. First name, last name. Use characters only when absolutely necessary. A lot of people do like, like a bunch of different the same character together, or XXXX. I'm like, just try to minimize that as much as possible. That's number one. Number two is a profile photo. If it's something really far, if it's a far out wide shot, can't even see what it is, what's the point? It's so small already, right? When you leave a comment on someone's photo, you can barely see what's in there. So if they click on it and they see it a little bit bigger, now make sure to show your face, make sure that it's a close-up of you so they can see what you actually look like. Or, for example, for me, I'm in fashion, so I try to show a little bit more of my outfit as well so they can see that. Or, something with like my hairstyle differently so guys understand, hey, this is a guy who's into fashion, into hair, whatever. And then another thing too is making sure that your bio says a little bit about who you are, or what your values are, because that's super important. A lot of guys would just go on, yeah. So for me, obviously it's business, right? So I'm men's fashion, grooming, New York City. I'm telling people exactly what I do, where I live, added a little Brazilian flag there to make sure that, people that were calling me traders, they remember, because I remember where I come from. So, I mean, we got the McLaren. I had to I had to show a little bit of the lifestyle there. But
Bro,
at the end of the day,
you got 99,000 likes. Guys, I promise you, if you go through here and you look at the girls who like this photo, you would be like, holy crap. Okay. Also, like, I like this, the little titles for the highlights. This is so important, because people who want to get to that next level of knowing who you are, they're going to dig through these highlights, and you can put like incredible content in there. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, like, it's great. I mean, this stuff is in fashion. You guys obviously know I tell you guys a lot of photos like this showing where you are, not just who you are. It's just really great stuff, man. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and by the way, this is, I'm an OG. I have been doing this for a very long time. When I say build your profiles, I don't expect your profile to look like this. So it's going to take a while. You're going to have to build it up and learn how to take your photos, learn how to make your videos, if that's what you're into. Which, like you said, I think for me that there are three reasons for Instagram. The first one being for business, right? If you're trying to monetize it, if you're trying to monetize it in any way, whether you have your own business and you're trying to build that profile, for example, if you own a product and you're trying to sell a product, or if you're trying to provide education and you're trying to build a following. So that is for business. Two is dating, for sure. Instagram is the biggest dating app on the platform. people use it every day for dating. I met my ex-girlfriend on Instagram, for example. I slid in, and it worked out. And then third, I actually do think that Instagram is also great for friends, for meeting like-minded people. So meeting other high value men, meeting other men who are on the journey to become better. I think that's so important. Maybe you move to a new city and you don't know anybody. Well, let me check out Instagram and see what's going on. It's going to feel a little weird. It's going to feel like, why am I going to message this guy, this random person? But maybe follow, see what's up, talk, make friends, man. There's so many benefits to having a great Instagram profile. And I think you're missing out if you don't at least have a few really good photos up top.